Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 355. We had a week. It was a week of anticipation and then disappointment, and then disappointment again, and then confusion. So we're going to do our best to go over all of it here tonight. But I do want to welcome our guest for tonight. I had to bring him in because, of course, we just had the Xbox event, and there was a lot of information that came out of that. So I feel like he can work to keep us on track and explain some stuff to us. That is Randall Thor.
Hey, thanks for having me back on. Even though, what is it? This is the third time recently, because you keep on asking me to join the day of, like hours before, and I'm like, I already have plans. Come on, John.
Well, the Xbox stuff was coming up out of nowhere half the time. Like the articles were just dropping all over the place, and I was like, okay, is this the way I'll get ran this week?
Yeah,
it was mayhem. Twitter Spaces everywhere. Are there still a bunch of those? I don't see them as much anymore. I guess things are better now.
Dude. Tim Dog was trending yesterday. What are you talking about?
Hey, apparently that's it.
He was trending for like 2 days straight.
That's actually impressive. Wow.
Okay. I've never trended before, so shout out to Tim Dog.
Hey, we got OJ Player Essence holding up the pre-show here.
Yeah, pre-show was lit. Thanks, you guys, for coming out and getting a lot more viewership on there. So I appreciate you guys coming through, and it's good to be here once again.
We got Josie Woe. Josie's back with us.
Happy to be here.
It's good to have Josie here. Feeling better?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, stuff got kids. The kid-eyed Danny gets sick all the time, and then I just get sick immediately after. So it's not fun.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, I got you. We got MVG.
Hello.
Coming to us from a very dark room, actually. No lights, nothing, huh? You just have the computer screen, and that's it.
That's all I need.
Oh, that'll work. And we got Sean, I think.
Hello.
Oh, okay, good. Are the Knicks playing tonight?
No, it's All-Star Weekend, pal.
Oh, okay.
So I'm watching all the All-Star shit.
Anything good happening?
No, it's just a bunch of overpaid athletes not trying to make an entertaining show so far.
So sports.
Yeah.
And then we have Evan with us.
Yep.
Okay, good. So it's again, it was a lot of Xbox stuff this week, but we also had Sony, which kind of ties a little bit into that Xbox stuff, believe it or not, with the way everyone was talking this week. And then out of nowhere yesterday, like 8 reports dropped about Nintendo potentially missing 2024 for their next gen system and maybe going into 2025. So a lot to get to there. I do want to ask though very quickly, Evan, what do you think of Helldivers 2?
It's all right. It's buggy as hell. It's really buggy.
I feel like that's a positive review from Evan just now.
Yeah, it feels.
Does that
it's
count?
Buggy. Yeah, you're shooting a lot of bugs. Yeah,
well, yeah. Bugs if you can get in, I mean, you tweeted that you couldn't get in. I couldn't today for the last half of the day. Yesterday, it didn't track any of the things I earned. I woke up this morning, had a ton of stuff. I was like, all right, I guess I'll just buy things.
That happened to me one day, actually. I played like 3 in a row, and it gave me nothing. Yeah. And then the next day, I logged in, and it just gave me all of it.
Yeah, it's a server issue.
So server issues, it's buggy, it's crashing, and you want me and Sean to buy this game? Why?
Yes.
You know, we're going to tackle this right now, okay? Because Rand, have you played Helldivers 2 yet?
No, I have not.
No, because Rand has good taste in games and doesn't want to spend money on buggy pieces of crap.
Played, MVG. Ask him what his last game was.
I think you're going to have to take that one back, MVG, because I don't think you're going to like the game I just finished.
Go on.
I know.
I just finished Suicide Squad.
Oh, good God.
But I look, Rocksteady is one of my favorite devs. I had to play it. And I love the Arkham universe. So I had to, it's a sequel to Arkham Knight, essentially. So I played it for that aspect of it. I don't care for the live service stuff. And it is a very, very weird game, right? Mm-hmm. Like all the live service stuff and on top of like all the, the stories, cinematics and stuff. So, yeah.
Want to give a shout out very quickly to Falled Fire, gifted 1 membership. Shout out to Falled Fire. It was about to disappear. That's why I didn't want to miss it. Sorry, Rand. Go ahead.
No, I apologize, MVG. So
you good, Rand.
Yeah.
Did you like the game?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It's kind of sitting in that mix of like 6.5 or 7, where it was like just enjoyable enough. The story stuff and the breadcrumbs you follow kind of outweighed some of the poor mission structure, live service aspect that the gameplay offered. But yeah, I don't think I'd recommend it to anybody. Although I do have some friends who are very much really enjoy the game, but they love all live service games. So
is this a Black Friday recommendation when it's like $15 or $20?
Oh yeah, I'll play it for that.
Yeah, I mean, if you enjoy like the DC stuff and you want to see like what they did with Batman and Superman and all that stuff, then yeah, probably just for the story when it's cheaper.
Okay. We get like down to the price of a movie ticket, and then we're in.
Oh yeah, I'm down at $15-20, like the Wario 64 upside down special, like around November.
That price might happen just before the servers get shut down, so do pay attention to that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I can get my movie. It's like a movie though. It's like a movie ticket.
I think they said they were going to do an update to give it an offline mode, if I'm not mistaken. It's just not. They just haven't done it yet. But also, weird to think about. That means the physical game would require that server to still be there to get the update to then make it offline. So,
well, not that server, but it would definitely require a server.
It would need some kind of. It would need the internet basically to make it happen at least once. So that's kind of weird to think about. But Helldivers 2, I've been trying to get really anyone to play this game at this point. OJ plays it.
Good luck.
Evan was playing it. Yep. So we have 3 technically now. I mean, because you can do crossplay and stuff. But the game is very good. The problem they're running into is kind of a consequence of their own success, as they are now the most successful multiplayer game from either Microsoft or Sony on Steam now, as they touched over 134,000 concurrent players earlier today. So over Halo.
You mean like 334,000?
Yeah. It just happened earlier today. So it's continued to rise over the last few days. It started at like, they're going to break 200,000. Now we're talking about like coming up on 350,000 now.
That's like total. Is that PlayStation and?
That's just Steam. That's just on Steam.
Just Steam. Yeah, just Steam.
Yeah. Concurrent players on any one point that are online, which usually means sales are significantly higher than that. So I feel like at this point they were not expecting this at all. Arrowhead, the CEO there, is constantly posting to Twitter like, I'm sorry, we can only have, at this point I think they're up to 20,000 login attempts per minute, and it's not working. It's not helping. So they're kind of under it right now. They're trying to figure out what to do. So maybe they were expecting 50,000 people to play it as their peak, but it's hard to recommend the game when it doesn't work. I will say that. So you would
there's no offline
there, MVG.
There's no offline. There's no single player. So.
And it's $60.
No, it's 40.
Okay, well, that's better.
Yep.
It's actually you can get it a little bit cheaper
game though
on PC.
Yeah.
You can get it for like 30 something.
If I had a PC, man.
You get a PS5.
You still wouldn't buy it if you had a PC.
Yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a very fun game. I will give them that. I mean, it kind of looks like the multiplayer game, one of the multiplayer games they were looking for, and this would be one of their live service games, and it seems to be working. So at least that could make up for the potential, I don't know, Destruction All-Stars or we'll see how Concord turns out, but they at least found something here that they can charge somebody a subscription service to play online to use for PS5. But I can't recommend it if it's not working. It's worked every time for me on the PS5. The issue I run into on the PS5, the game crashes in the game. So I can get in, but I notice every 3 or 4 that I play, it crashes. Like that thing like Cyberpunk was doing, where it kicks you back to the menu and it's like, do you want to report your...
Supposedly crossplay has something to do with it. And I know there's like some weird memory leak. Yeah, so. And there's some weird memory leak when you're in your spaceship that over time it just gets worse and worse, so you have to restart the game. So there's issues.
I will have to turn off crossplay.
Yeah, like I tried to boot it up right now, and it doesn't even can't even load the.
No, yeah, I tried to get a game in before going live, and it just wouldn't do anything.
But go buy it, guys.
Just not on the weekend. Not on the weekend.
But go buy it. It's worth every penny, I guess.
John, remember Payday 3? This sounds like Payday 3 all over again. What are we doing here? Why?
Well, the issue with Payday 3 is it's not fun. this game actually is fun. And it's obvious since people keep trying to log in and they're getting crushed by it. Like, even though it's crashing and it's not working for people, they're still trying and they're still buying the game. So there's a good gameplay loop there. If everything worked fine, it'd be one of the better multiplayer games that I recommend someone right now, especially a newer multiplayer game. But otherwise, maybe give it a month and see how it's doing. See if they fix some of the issues.
Do you think the the success on Steam breeds more success on Steam and PlayStation? Like,
I mean, yeah.
Because every time I log on to Twitter, everybody's updating me about the player count of Helldivers on Steam, which seems to then fuel more people playing the game and buying the game on probably both platforms. Seems to be one of the benefits of day one PC releases that you don't necessarily get on console. Like, nobody can tell you how good Foam Stars isn't or is doing because it's only on PlayStation. I feel like this is one of the benefits of, you know, Steam being open so you can see the numbers, and then that like factors into like, oh, people get on the FOMO train, although not MVG, because he's just like, nope, not playing it. But a lot of people, they want to get involved into what's happening right now, right? So it's like, oh my god, people are loving Helldivers 2 and it's so huge, I should play it too, right?
Rand, hold on, John. I have to get you back because you made a confession earlier. I have to make a confession. I did actually play Foam Stars last week. But I deleted it after about an hour.
You hear this, Rand? You hear this? Like, hey, play quality with Helldivers 2. He's like, nah, I gotta.
Well, one is free and one is $40, John.
Exactly.
So if you want us to play it, buy it for us.
Foam Stars is part of an $80 a year subscription
that he already has.
It's not free. It's on there. You gotta pay for it. You gotta make sure it's up to date. Yes, Foam Stars wasn't. Sean's right. Foam Stars was easy enough to where even I downloaded it and I was like, let me see what this is. And a half hour later, I was like, that's enough of that. So
I can say Helldivers is better than Foam Stars. Don't worry, guys. That's my expert analysis.
It is definitely better than.
But is Foam Stars better than Splatoon though?
No. What are you saying? That's crazy. What do you mean?
Wait, maybe on a good day.
We just talked about how shit it was, and you go, oh, wait a second, hold on. Might it be better than like one of the best Nintendo IPs out there?
He's joking. Because
Splatoon 3 did have the same Helldivers 2 issue where it's like when it works, it's really good, but then when it disconnects, it's not.
It still kind of does. But the difference is that like Splatoon has like if you want to just do like the co-op, right? Like you can do the co-op, do the single player. So that's all going to crap like that. You can just play something else like within it. So that's what I do because I'll play like the salmon run stuff, and that stuff usually works the whole time.
So here's what's going to happen, Rand. I already know this is how it's going to work out. I don't know, 8 months from now, maybe even a year, Helldivers 2 will go into PlayStation Plus, and then MVG, Sean, Nate, all these guys will download it and then play it and be like, this game is really good. And they're going to show up and start telling me about that. Like how Sean showed up after how many times did I say play Crisis Core? And he showed up one day in the chat and was like, this Crisis Core game is really good.
8 months from now, then just shut down the video game industry because that means absolutely nothing has come out in those 8 months that's worth playing if I'm going to be playing that.
Well, I mean, what was the last thing you turned on your PS5 for?
Foam Stars.
Spider-Man 2.
Oh.
Wow, Foam Stars.
Yeah, I'll say Foam Stars. There you go, Sean. Spider-Man 2. Well, maybe we'll see. If it goes in the PlayStation Plus, you guys have to at least download it and try it twice because MVG tried Foam Stars 2 matches. So
you went to 2? God damn.
Yeah, plus the tutorial as well.
That was like 10 whole minutes.
You can't get that time back. You can't.
I know.
I gotta side with MVG. That did feel like a massive waste of time.
Well, it's there for people. There's some good. There is some good qualities about Foam Stars. It's not all bad, but most of it is. But there's some good stuff.
Like what?
Yeah, most of it is. Well,
the shooting doesn't feel bad. Like how they reload and shoot. That doesn't necessarily feel terrible. It's the interface, like what you see visually. But the shooting itself feels pretty smooth, and the controls aren't too bad. The controls seem fine. But it's just the other stuff surrounding it that's really bad. And the music's really good. I like the music.
Yeah.
It's like J-pop, K-pop, J-pop kind of mix synth. It's really good music.
The art style and visuals are fine for what they're going for. It turns into a mess when the match starts. Yeah. I have no idea what's going on half the time. So
that's the problem. There's also no real the single player, the co-op mode suck. Like there's not really any real content in there, and it's hero based, not gear based. So some people like hero shooters. But in this type of game, like if you have a certain character that you like, Foam Stars, I know we're getting sorry to get back to Foam Stars, but if you have a certain character that you like, well, you can't pick that same character. At least, you know, like you've got to pick a certain character. So it's not gear based. It's you know, character based, hero based. So that was a mistake. They should have made it gear based. But they want to sell you a bunch of microtransactions in the game, you know, like with a bunch of different type of gear and packs. So I think that was the main driver why they didn't do that. Whatever.
I think you're onto something though. Ran with the idea of these platforms being more transparent with how many people are playing which game, especially if they advertise that on the front of the store or something with trending games, and there's numbers next to it of how many people are playing, and it's, as you say, it kind of just basically snowballs to the point where those numbers just keep going up and people buy it.
I mean, it happened with Pal World. I firmly believe the success of Pal World was bred by every single person talking about the numbers on Steam that it was doing constantly. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
No,
it is that
agree.
sense of the game must be good if people are throwing that much money at it, I guess.
Yeah, like when you start seeing people talking about it, I mean, they pay all of us, right? Like influencer, right? You talk about a game. The more you talk about something, the more it's going to sell. So if it's just getting free advertising, you know, that's essentially like the Power World stuff. It's just free.
Do you think you sold a copy of Foam Stars, right? Talking about it in these last 5 minutes then?
No, because it's on PS Plus.
Maybe you sold a PlayStation Plus subscription.
No one's gonna. I don't think I sold a single one from what I said. Not a single PS Plus subscription.
Let me go over to the supporters over on patreon.com, Spawncast Network. I want to start with Trent A, William Hogue, Mr. Joby, Joshua Butts, John O, Achievement, and then the sponsor, The Game Orb. We got them linked down below. Make sure you check them out. They have a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel. They'll explore different conventions and also do all kinds of gameplay for games that are upcoming or out now. And I do want to point out MVG has his Ask a Developer show that just went up, and it's actually really well done. There were some good questions in there, MVG. I gotta give you that. Yep. Some good answers in there. So make sure you check them out. We got some retro inspired stuff coming up. MVG and I are playing through Half-Life 2. Gonna be doing that, and then Sean and Nate, I guess, are gonna play through Twin Snakes. So we'll see how you guys do with that. Let me go over here. We're going to start with the games that came out this week. There are a few others, but I just picked these 4. Skull and Bones came out. Did anyone play it?
I got what's it called? They were inviting me to play it. And I was like, I don't want to. And then Max made a video on it and I watched some of it and he was like, you play as a boat. And then and then Beat 'em Ups talked about it. He uninstalled it in like 10 minutes.
This is one of the most unappealing games I've ever seen come out where there's like no draw to this thing at all. Like nothing.
I saw people online talking about it, John, where like you, I don't know, destroy another boat and then like you try to like board them and then it's just like a cutscene and it's like, oh, and then like a box. There's not like you don't play like the people boarding the boat, you know. It's just
they took all this from. The idea was to take it from like Black Flag because it was super popular, right? All the sailing, the pirate stuff, and it just feels like they made it really watered down and boring. And this game was in development 8 years or something. It's been a long time. They've rebooted this thing multiple times.
Do you remember when it was announced and people were like, "Well, rip to Sea of Thieves." Sorry, Sea of Thieves.
Well,
didn't people say that kind of like
no, they were being dead serious. No, they were being absolutely dead serious.
That's because they knew nothing about it. Everyone assumed that you might have played a character on the boat at first, like so no one kind of really knew what was happening.
I know I didn't say that, but it just looked like okay, they hadn't really shown much. Nobody knew it. Like everyone was saying, nobody knew anything about the game. Like.
Didn't it only come out because of their contract with the Singapore government or something too?
Yes. Yep.
Otherwise, it probably would have been canceled a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, they absolutely would have canceled this game. They did their best to push it too. In their conference call with investors, East Guillermo called it a quadruple A game.
Yeah, I saw that.
They're just saying anything they can to sell this. That's all because it's $70. Like 70. It's like oh.
Yeah, that game's gonna flop, bro. I think it's gonna flop. Might be safe to say that. Might be.
My podcast co-host Jez Corden, he played it. He thought it was free to play, And then when I told him it was $70, he was like, "They're selling this for $70?" I was like, "Yeah." He said it was one of the most boring games he's ever played.
Quadruple A.
So
yeah, I saw his post on Twitter.
Okay, so Skull and Bones not going so well for Ubisoft over there. I think it's sitting at like a 64 on Metacritic right now. So there
quality.
You go. Banishers, that came out this week too. I didn't play that one. I think Nate said he might rent that and check it out. But
Nate still rents games.
He still has GameFly.
He's a big GameFly guy.
He's a huge GameFly guy.
GameFly guy, man. He's had that forever.
Okay, listen, y'all gotta watch. I ain't trying to bring it up, but y'all gotta watch the Black Keely video where I go on this guy being like the dad from Everybody Hates Chris because he's so cheap. Y'all gotta watch. Just go watch the Black Keely with it. That's definitely Nate, bro.
I think he said he's gonna rent that from GameFly to try it out. But that's not one that I had played. Rand, did you mention you were gonna play it next after Suicide Squad? Okay.
Yeah, that's my next game. I'm gonna check. I like Dontnod games. I like their last game, Jasant, quite a bit. And I've always enjoyed the Life is Strange stuff. And a couple of my friends have played this and they said it's pretty good. So I'm gonna check it out. That's gonna be the next game I play.
So does Nate actually like wait by his mailbox and like to come there?
That was part of the commercial, right? You would like they'd just be sitting there, like kid be sitting there next to the mailbox.
Comes home from work. He's like, "Oh, my GameFly is here."
Come on, OJ, don't talk. I use GameFly throughout the entire 360 gen and most of the Xbox.
Oh, I did too. I know. It's just funny seeing Nate.
You know, it's funny because I had a 4-out plan for the entire generation, 4 games out at one time, and I was like,
wow,
one of the first members of because GameFly used to. The way they used to send out their games was based on seniority back then. So because I was one of the first people who got into it when they started, I could get any new game that released. I wouldn't have to wait for it as long as I had an open slot. It was beautiful. And then when they opened up a shipping center nearer to me, I would get the game like the day after release. So I was like, oh, this is great. I don't have to spend $60 on games. I can just get it from GameFly and I only have to wait a day. It's beautiful.
We did have so I know people played these 2 games. Well, I think Josie, did you play Mario vs. Donkey Kong? I know it just came out. I know like just came
courtesy
out.
of someone. I can't say actually. It'll give away my whole video. Anyways.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Boomer versus Zoomer coming out soon.
Okay. Okay, I see where that's going. All right, I got it. I assume you'll have more to say on that game when you have more time with it, maybe on Game and Talk.
Yeah, I played it a little bit. I like it. I think, it's kind of disappointing because I wanted an actual Donkey Kong game, but, it's obviously not what it is. It's like a fun little puzzler thing. Plays just like, it's literally like you do these puzzles, you get through them, you get a key, and then you go get the minis at the end. It's pretty simple, pretty easy too. I haven't really run into anything that's got me confused, but it's fun. I don't know. I don't mind it, and it's kind of a nice, just different thing from what's been going on with the rest of games and all that.
Yeah, it's a Boy Advance game from, oh my gosh, how long ago was that now? 20 years ago now?
2003.
Yeah, and they like redid 2003. That's when I was born.
There you go.
I was what was I
03?
doing in 2003? Definitely was.
20 years
I
ago.
was more than born.
Wow. No, I mean, it looks like it's basically a 1-to-1 remake. I think they added a few extra things in there. And it was also
they added like a co-op. They got a co-op mode in there. They've added a couple
that's kind of the reason I wanted to check this out. I haven't experienced it yet, but it seems pretty good.
Couple extra worlds in there, but yeah, pretty much gameplay wise, it's pretty faithful. I never played the original. I saw it, but I never played it. So this is my first time actually playing the game, and yeah, it's just a fun little game.
They redid the cutscenes and stuff, obviously, and they look
of course, the cutscenes and things. But like gameplay wise, a lot of the levels are the same, but there are new levels, and there is the co-op. I mean, there's like a time attack modes and stuff like that. Afterwards, there's some like challenge modes and some other things. So there is that.
Okay, Josie, you'll have more on that, I guess, later on this week then. So
yeah, Game and Talk Wednesday. Wednesday at Game and
Talk.
YouTube.com/Game and Talk, please check it out.
And I did want to recognize one game in here because there's a lot of confidence behind this game. I will say this: that MAG was looking at Tomb Raider and said, I think this is going to be pretty good. It's out. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered. I picked it up on the PS5. Sean, you got it on.
I bought it
Switch?
on Switch. Yeah.
Switch. Okay. Did you get it, MVG?
No, I will get it though.
Okay. Got it. So I went into this really unsure as to how it was going to turn out. I mean, it's a Spire, so I don't really know what I'm going to get from half the time now. But this, I didn't realize, was actually done by like serious fans of the games, like the older Tomb Raider games. Like they knew their way around the title. It wasn't just like, oh, we're going to hand it off and the Spire is going to have some people randomly do this.
So there's an open source Tomb Raider project called Open Lara, and it's been around for many, many years. It's someone reverse engineered the entire game, and with the original data files, you can like run it in a web browser and you can get like full widescreen, 4K, enhanced visuals. So basically the guy that worked on the Open Lara project is the technical lead on this project. So this particular project was made, it was in very good hands. That's why it turned out as well as it did.
So I just jumped between the 3 different games just to check them out. And I don't know if you were doing that too, Sean, or if you like legitimately just started with one and you were thinking you're going to play through basically all the games in order.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm on level 5 of 1 right now.
Okay, cool. So playing it on the PS5 though, they do have the ability to switch between the visuals. On the PS5, you just press like they don't call these things start and select anymore. It's like the 3 lines.
The plus button on
basically.
The Switch does that too.
Yeah, so you switch between the older visuals, and it also kind of like the frame rate looks a little different when you go back to the older style. Then they have the tank controls, modernized controls. Modern controls definitely introduce some weird things with the camera, but that's just, I feel like, because the game isn't expecting you to be able to necessarily swing the camera around like that as easily. And the platforming is better with the modern controls, but it's still that situation of you stop, she jumps straight up in the air, and then she grabs onto a ledge. But I think if you're a big fan of the older Tomb Raider games and you have that nostalgia, like I feel like this is a must buy for you then. I mean, 3 games, $30, and it's a high quality version of the game. I haven't run into any weird issues crashing. You just save anywhere. So you have a little menu that comes up and you just hit save and you're good to go. So I'm enjoying it for what it is. I don't know if I'd recommend it to brand new like Tomb Raider players. Like if you've never played Tomb Raider before, I don't know. I feel like you're gonna get this and you're gonna be like, what's going on here with the controls?
Oh yeah, because the game.
Think, Sean? Oh,
go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
I mean, I thought the tank controls, because there was someone playing it on Twitter and they're like, oh, I can't believe I spent $30 on this shit. This is before my time. And I was like, did you use the modern controls? He was like, what? I was like, go into the menu. He's like, oh, this is great. Now I can play it. I think it's still pretty playable. You just got to get used to the quirks of it, like the ledge grabs and stuff like that. And yeah, you'll probably die some and it can be frustrating, but once you kind of get into the groove, like I think anyone could play it and it looks really good.
What were you saying, MG?
I was just going to add on to your point about how it's not very accessible, if you haven't played the series before, because it literally just drops you in, the map, and it doesn't tell you anything about where you need to go or anything like that. There's no breadcrumbs or there's no map or anything like that. So yeah, it's not very accessible if you don't really know what to do. But in another way, it's really awesome that there are still games, or that they still make, obviously it's a remake or a remaster, but a game that they bring out in 2024 that doesn't really hold your hand. And it reminds me kind of like the Metroid Prime 1 remaster, where even though they did kind of make a few little quality of life enhancements, it's still very similar in that it doesn't really tell you where you need to go. And I don't know, I like games like that, I guess.
Yeah, I like it too, honestly, because I played the first one on the Saturn, and I never played 2 and 3. So like I completely forgot about stuff that happened, in the original game. And it's actually been enjoyable, like figuring things out and, kind of getting stuck a little bit, but then being like, okay, well, what did I miss? Like even the second level, I was stuck for a minute, and then I was like, oh wait, you got to go through this little area and you got to get this key, and then you go through the door, and like, oh, okay, cool. I just overlooked it.
Yeah, there is something to that, MG, because when you're playing it, there's nothing on the screen for a HUD at all. Like when you pull your pistols out, it has a meter that comes up. I've noticed, but for the most part, it is that that thing that people were really happy about with Elden Ring, where it's very basic, minimalistic. There's nothing like there's not arrows and waypoints and menu items all over the place. It's just very, very open and empty and quiet to a degree. It kind of builds its atmosphere through that. So it's you're definitely right. It's like a kind of a something we've lost a bit along the way with a lot of the games and how they've become so in your face with everything. But it's cool. If you like Tomb Raider, I think it's an awesome pickup at $30. It's hard to argue with that. All right. Let's see. Why don't we go to the Xbox business update? So I know, Rand, you're very familiar with this. MVG was in some of the Twitter spaces, so he's got the inside intel on this.
It was.
Sean made 12 videos about it. He's up to speed on it, but still, I will...
Sean pissed some people off, too, with one of his videos.
What did you do, Sean? Which one?
The one where you went at the journalists.
Oh, yeah, well, fuck them. Like, whatever. Get over it.
You could explain what happened there, Sean, in a minute. The Xbox business update was on their podcast. It's about 22 or 23 minutes long. In there, they outlined 4 games that are going to be going to other platforms. At this point, we basically know it's Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, and Grounded, and we're just kind of waiting for the first one to get announced. Maybe it'll be in a direct or something coming up here. People think maybe Pentiment could be in there. Starfield, Indiana Jones, not one of those games going to other platforms. And in fact, they straight up asked them point blank if they are going to other platforms. They said, no, not now. Well, at least not now. Who knows what 10 or 20 years holds, but that is not the case. And I feel like that's a lot of people are going into this expecting that. And I think
why were they expecting it?
Nah, that's what I was going to say, Sean. Why were they expecting that?
Because all these fucking reports that came out, and every day there's another game being added to the list. And, you know, shit goes south sometimes, you know, things go awry. That's fine. You know, everyone has made a mistake in life. Everyone has misreported something. Hell, John once stayed up till 3 a.m. doing a live stream because he thought the PS Vita 2 was going to be at an event. It happens. But the problem is, what did all these people do? The people who said Starfield, the people who said Indiana Jones, the people who said Gears of War, did they say, oh, you know what? Hey, I guess something changed, you know, this, that. No, they doubled down and they took no accountability. Meanwhile, when Nate came out earlier in the week and said, you know what, I'm hearing things that Starfield's not going to be there, that Starfield's not going to be one of the games. Those same fucking people went after him and were condescending to him, the people who reported it first. Like, get off your fucking high horse. Like, Jesus Christ.
Talk to me more about John staying up till 3 a.m. about the.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
More about that.
The Vita 2, was this happening?
I think it was a cell phone, right? Like, it actually was just a cell phone.
Yeah,
that came
it was just some.
Let's stop being so angry. Let's talk about that some more.
It was the Monster Hunter PS4 Pro. Remember that? It was Tokyo Game Show. It was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
John had to do a formal apology. He was wearing
John did his formal apology. Hey, that's content.
No,
these people are dumb. They don't get it. The apology is content just as well. You're still going to get people to read about it, but
John had a press conference.
That apology video like ended up on my recommended one day out of nowhere. I was like, "What is this?" So I watched the whole thing. I was like, "Oh, interesting."
Go back and make sure they're middle.
If I think no, read them and weep. If I don't think that this is just the start and other games won't get ported, they've been porting games. This is nothing new. When Microsoft got Hellblade, what did they do? They ported it to the Nintendo Switch. Ori and the Blind Forest, Cuphead. Okay, Sony has MLB The Show. MLB The Show is on multiple platforms. If it was something like Starfield, Indiana Jones, Gears of War, Halo, like all these people were perpetuating, then yes, there would be cause for concern. But as it stands now, you have 2 games as a service games, both of which came out on Xbox fucking One. And then you have 2 smaller titles that were obviously passion projects that they're just like, hey, you know what? People will probably buy this shit on other platforms.
Well, real quick, the one thing though, MLB was forced. Like MLB forced Sony to,
and Microsoft could force Xbox.
No, I'm just saying, like, they definitely bent the knee a little bit with that one. They were gonna remove their their multi-million-dollar contract, and they were going to give it to 2K. Somebody else would have taken, because that's like literally free money to do MLB The Show. Like, it's, you just make a baseball game, right? But no, I see what you're saying though, Sean. Like, I agreed with your video overall, but I do think that there could be some other bigger stuff, like the next Halo, right? Maybe the next Halo. You don't think that's a possibility for them to say, hey, we can make way more money if it's on PlayStation as well, you know? Even like Halo Infinite.
Like if we're talking about 5 to 10 years from now,
yeah, distant future.
This is a non-discussion, because 5 to 10 years from now, look at the video game landscape, how much it's changed in the past 5 years. Now think about where it's going right now, what we're seeing, you know, Sony now embracing the PC side of things, Microsoft obviously embracing the PC side of things, cloud gaming starting to rise. A PlayStation 6, an Xbox Series Z or whatever, those could be very, very drastically different platforms than what we expect from home console gaming right now. So, you know, if it's 5 to 10 years, okay. You know, if Indiana Jones comes out 5 years later after it came out on Xbox, what does it matter? Like, I don't get what it matters. Everyone who wanted to play it has either played it on PC or on the Xbox. And if that's what Sony fans are going to be happy with, like, oh yeah, some leftovers from Xbox, like that's bizarre too. Like it's just ridiculous to me.
I love it. We got RGT going. Passionate.
What do you think, Rand? Four games, Rand? Do you think this is a test? Do you think they're already planning on other ones after this? They're just not making it public?
Well, I mean, they've set it up in a way where it could just be the 4 games, because they did say it's a test, and they did say it's like, hey, we want to inject more life into these community games, Grounded, Sea of Thieves, because they might be at end of life. What better way to then bring to other platforms to get more people and invest more money? Same thing with Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment. It was like games that weren't really that big, that might have sequel potential. They sort of talked about that. And they said, hey, we're going to learn. We're going to see how some of this stuff goes. So they left the door open of like, okay, if the tests don't do good, maybe we don't continue with this. But I think that's highly unlikely. I mean, they're already talking about internally about Xbox everywhere, how every screen is an Xbox, right? So to me, I think it's just, okay, if we don't do any more, that's fine. They haven't boxed themselves in a corner, because they can say the test went well and they're going to explore more options down the road for more games eventually. Like, who knows, like how you know, like something like Hellblade 2 years later because it was on PlayStation, or Outer Worlds 2 a year or two later because it was on PlayStation, right? Some, you know, like a new Doom game because it has legacy on PlayStation, and maybe they look at more at that. So I would say if you're expecting it to just only be 4, I think you're mistaken. I think it'll be definitely more than that, with Microsoft's plans of wanting to be everywhere and every screen potentially being able to play an Xbox game. I do think it's odd that a month ago people were freaking out about the idea of any Xbox game going anywhere, and then people celebrating on Thursday that it was only 4 games. I thought that was interesting to me. But maybe that's because I've seen some people say that that all the reporting was part of an Xbox psyop or a false flag operation.
40 chess.
Yeah, 40 chess. That basically they let them put out the Starfield Indiana Jones rumor knowing that they weren't going to go, so that when people just heard it was these smaller stuff, they would be more okay with it. I think this is Microsoft basically taking their user base and kind of being like baby stepping it forward, getting people used to the idea of their games maybe potentially going to other platforms in a very similar way that Phil did it with Quantum Break. If you guys remember, well, probably don't, but when
thing on PC.
Yeah, when they announced Quantum Break for PC, they said the same thing. It's just one game, doesn't mean all the games are going to go. And then eventually, obviously, we know it did mean all the games went, right?
Did Phil yell at somebody on Twitter over that?
I believe he did. I believe he did.
Gamer.
Oh, there you go.
Even Herman Holst, when they announced their Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, he was like, just because we're doing this one doesn't mean all the others are coming. Well,
now they're all coming.
That was one of the mistakes of the Xbox One generation, is that Microsoft wanted to drag everybody with them and what they thought the vision of gaming was, and nobody was ready to go along with them. You have to sort of piecemeal it. Get everybody sort of used to the idea of these things, So I think it's a little bit of that. I do think we'll see more games on other platforms. My question is how much and how often and how many, right? How many are you going to do every year? What are those going to be, those games? I think they'll probably keep some exclusives to themselves. Something like Halo, I think, is too intertwined with the actual brand itself. Because, you can make the argument that every game should be on every platform. If you're strictly talking about making money, right? Halo should be on every platform because that was the best chance for it to make money. But you have to think about what's good for the game and what's good for the platform. And I think what's good for the platform is probably Halo being exclusive. Like Gears. You could make the argument the Gears collection, if it's rumored to be true. Okay, if we're gonna, why not give it to Switch and PlayStation? And then when Gears 6 comes out, being like, that's only on Xbox. So it's like, hey, you guys, you know what? Why don't you come play it over here? You can sort of, draw conclusions based off of that and see how those go. But I think they'll hold some stuff to themselves. I think they'll hold the bigger stuff to actually use as ways to get people to want to pick up new Xbox hardware, which they talked about again, and they once again used the biggest technological leap for the next gen Xbox hardware, which is what they've been doing the last two times.
What do we hold on? What's the next gen? What's the idea there for next gen? What's the system that's the biggest technical leap?
It's not going to be anything from Saturn to Dreamcast. Look at that.
They just kept moving, by the way.
No,
it just kept moving.
No.
When poppycock.
When they say the most powerful generational leap, you know what that means? That means they're using AI. Like they're using there's hardware AI implementation in there to basically recreate or create all sorts of shit, within the hardware itself. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a generational leap, but I feel like that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like we don't need that at all.
Oh, I got a great idea, Josie. Go ahead.
I'm just saying. I think we need games.
Idea. You've never had a great idea.
I have a great
especially
idea.
when you smirk.
What? No, my idea was calling Special Nick rather than Shesh Paul Nick for a year. But
no, it was longer than a year, pal. This is ever since that man's been on my radar for anything, I have called him like Shesh Paul Nick and shit like that. And then
back in the days when you were wrestling cardboard too, you were doing that and wrestling cardboard. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I was because Nate and I were trying to kick back ideas as to what would really be a technical leap that's something we haven't seen before in games, because as Sean mentioned, that's just like marketing. We're going to drum this up a bit. I feel like it was just confidence boosting. Like, hey, we're not going away from hardware. We're doing this crazy thing with the next system. I don't think it's necessarily visuals. I feel like it is AI, as you're mentioning, MVG. And I almost wonder if they get to a position in... Wait, is it... Rand, do you still think it's like 2026, 2027 for the next system?
Yeah, I think you'll see a console, high-end console, and then a handheld to go with it.
I do think AI would become a serious part of the system, and I think they would have a coprocessor that would be specifically designed for AI and accelerating everything they need for it to work, processes and all this. And I kind of wonder if they're going to make it. I don't want to say your system becomes more aware, but as in like your system would kind of have like a personality that's molded to you, and because they would have cloud computing, it would actually follow you between platforms. So you would almost have like you'd have almost your own Jarvis from Iron Man, who would basically follow you around.
I saw some report that basically said that Microsoft was working on their own version of DLSS, I believe,
yes.
Which
that would probably be part of it too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about a combo of a console and a handheld. Is that?
I like that idea quite a bit. I think that's one of the ways you differentiate yourself from just trying to make the most powerful system. Try to make the most convenient system.
Go Nintendo's route.
It's worked.
Well, this would be 2 systems, though, right?
Oh,
presumably.
Yeah. So you would probably have a handheld, and then you have a high-end system that you're probably not gonna get out of a handheld. But I assume the handheld would probably dock and do video out.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be kind of like their strategy with the Xbox Series S and the Xbox. I mean, you have something that's, smaller, maybe a bit more affordable, Then you have like the big
detachable Joy-Con
system.
That'd be rad.
Detachable Joy-Con.
Is that when's that hitting Spotify, Sean?
I don't know. Josie could put it on a Game and Talk pod. Oh, somebody yelled at me, Josie, that like the last episode wasn't on Spotify. Maybe
it's on Spotify. I just got it on there.
Hold on, let me look. Talk
It's
about
like this.
It's one of those platforms that I have no idea what it is.
It might not be on Apple Podcasts because I think they still have to approve us.
Well, this was last Saturday. Why isn't the new episodes of Game and Talk podcast on Spotify?
They are on Spotify now.
So fucking release Coyote versus Acme, you WB sluts. If you're watching this, yes, that is his Twitter name. There's your answer.
They also
oh my god,
John. There was a lot of concern about Xbox changing Game Pass.
Yes, there was.
And removing day one games, maybe positioning them in a different tier, and what they were going to do with Activision games. There was rumors that Call of Duty may not go into Game Pass on day one, but they announced that Diablo 4 is coming to Game Pass on like March 28th, and that Matt Booty said all first-party Xbox games will be day one on Game Pass. And Game Pass will be on no other platform. So I wonder if they're positioning Game Passes to be like one of the differentiators. I always have a problem saying that word of, because like we've always heard the rumors they're trying to get Game Pass on other platforms, right? They've talked about this, but now they came out like Game Pass will only be here. So I wonder if like going forward, it's like, okay, if we have more games on other platforms, if they're going to use Game Pass as like a reason to be like, hey, you could pay $70 to play this game over there, but you can come over here and get it for free essentially. And then, have whatever with a different handheld and the console and all the other things they might be doing. But it was nice to see them at least put out there being like, no, first parties day one on Game Pass. Cause I think people were really starting to like, lose their minds a little bit on that rumor, which wasn't true. So
they say that like, oh, Game Pass is exclusive. Do you think if they could have like elaborated on that, Game Pass is exclusive because no one else will allow it on their system?
Yeah, but that's not something you want to say.
No, it's not something you want to say because it's not even on Steam, and the fact that it's not on Steam is like, oh, okay, because that would go on their Steam Deck. I almost wonder if Valve's kind of like, we don't really want that here right now either. We don't have enough data on how that would actually affect things for us. So I mean, that's a good way to phrase it. It's exclusive to the Xbox and PC technically, so it won't be on PlayStation, won't be on Switch or Nintendo system. But that I was a little surprised that they were. I mean, okay, so they mentioned Activision Blizzard. They did not say Call of Duty. I think people are still kind of in limbo, waiting for them to just say, "Hey, Call of Duty, here it is." But Diablo 4 is going in at least. That's good. That's good.
Well, I mean, they did say all first party games. I mean, I'd assume that would encompass Call of Duty, right?
Isn't there some like, because Sony still has the marketing rights for Call of Duty, correct? Even though it's owned by Microsoft.
No, I think the marketing ended with the last one that just came out.
Oh, okay. Well, carry on.
There you go. I mean, they're going to have a Call of Duty this year, so we're going to find out one way or the other, probably at their June showcase. And I assume Game Pass will be right there. It'll say, play it in Game Pass day one, Call of Duty, Xbox logo all over the place. So that would be my assumption at that point. Oh yeah, no showcase in June. Not really surprising. I mean, there's no E3 or anything, so it's hard to say.
IGN has their thing, buddy.
And so does Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, you got
IGN
Jeff
Live
Keighley.
Summer Game
I'm
Fest.
sure IGN will hire everyone's favorite, Greg Miller, to run the event.
Keighley will post it on the summer stuff he does too.
Yeah, it'll be a part of Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, directly a partner of it.
Okay.
No, I guess I should also mention that Phil did say in an interview with Tom Warren later that when asked directly about Starfield and Indiana Jones, said that he wouldn't rule it out because he doesn't think any game should be ruled out. But that this doesn't mean that other games are coming to all. Like what did he say? He basically said like this doesn't mean the dams burst and other games would go, but obviously he's not ruling it out. So he's not gonna. Some of the times Phil puts his foot in his mouth because he'll say one thing and then like business realities shift, or you just need to sell something and now you don't. Like, hey, Xbox Scorpio is gonna have VR, and then VR never came. Or what they said about Ori. I don't know if you guys remember what he said about after Ori came to the Switch, was that they weren't going to do this anymore because it wasn't fair to the Xbox owner to wonder what games were exclusive or not, and that the only way he would want to put games on Switch and other platforms was if he had a full Xbox experience. Well, I mean, here we are 4 years later, and they're not talking about that. And even during the FTC trial, he said they didn't want to support PlayStation because PlayStation takes the money from the games on their platform and uses it to make deals to hurt Xbox. So it's like, so you're just going to give Sony 4 of your games to make money that they would then use to hurt you? I'm just saying,
You also got to remember, like, people say stuff in these. I know what you're saying. Like, there's a lot of contradictions there, and I agree with most of that. It's just like at the what was it? The whole court case. They're saying anything. Like, they're saying all sorts of shit just to try to get a favorable,
Sure. I'm just saying, people. It's just like I've said. I think Sony and Nintendo don't really talk to people. They're very cold, right, when it comes to fan interaction or even press interaction. Really, Xbox being the challenger brand, had to do something different. So they're more open. They're more warm. They sidle up to the community. They do more interviews. But when you do more interviews, there's more chances for you to say something that might not end up being true later on. And it's one of those things where business realities shift, they change constantly, and what might have been true in 2020 is no longer true in 2024. And then people look back at your words and you're like, well, you lied here. And it's like, well, no, I didn't lie. It was just that it's no longer the case. I've made the case that they shouldn't talk as much so you could avoid situations like this, but they have to be different somehow.
Wanna make me cry.
I think Phil's learning not to speak in absolutes at all times. So he's doing the never say never response, basically. So I would not expect Starfield or Indiana Jones going to PlayStation anytime soon, basically.
But would you be surprised if in 2 years it did come, though?
I probably wouldn't. I mean, at this point, I'd be like, they've probably sold what they can and gotten whatever subscriptions they can, and they're kind of moving on. Which, by the way, the Game Pass subscriptions they did say in passing was at 34 million, and that does include their Xbox Live Gold merge that they did, where that's Game Pass Core. Apparently, that felt a little low when they said that number.
Yeah, there's no real growth. There's no real growth, right? That's the situation. That's the problem, right?
Yeah, they said it. They didn't even really have to say it. I feel like I don't know why they even did that. Like,
gotta say something.
They think the number is good.
They gotta say something. No, they don't give us console sales numbers. They don't give us game sales numbers. They don't give us.
But I mean, the fact it was in like a podcast where they just kind of Sarah Bond just kind of said it. Like,
it's a metric. Really Sarah Bond she was spouting off all sorts of metrics. So it's another metric.
Yeah. I felt like it would have been more like when they said that, I was like, oh wow, that's not bad for Game Pass Ultimate. And they're like, well, no, that actually includes the Game Pass Core stuff too. It's like, oh, how many Xbox Live Gold members were there then? Because it feels like there weren't that many left over. I don't know. That's strange. That surprise you ran when they said 34 million?
No, I don't think there's been a growth on Xbox Game Pass for a while, and that's mostly because of like Microsoft didn't bother releasing any games in 2022. So it's tough to want to subscribe to a service that is when you're like, hey, we're going to sell it on the back of our own first party games, but they take a while to come. I don't think it was there's a lot of people that were left in Gold, the core, anyways. But yeah, they are 100% behind where they wanted to be with Game Pass at this point. And they'll just have to see what Call of Duty does if they do bring it day one, which, judging from their statements, they will. What kind of effect that will have on the service? I think they expected cloud gaming to be a little bit bigger than it is right now, and maybe mobile. They said PC is doing pretty damn well on their side. So, and console Game Pass is hamstrung by the fact that they're not selling as many consoles as I think they probably thought they would either. So,
Red, you have shh, quiet, John. You talk to people that work at Xbox, right? You have some connections there. All right, let me give him a little suggestion here. I don't know if you saw Mr. Kid Smooth's video today.
The best spot
today. The best spot. I did Planet Xbox last night.
Planet Xbox.
Whatever. Because I'm the king of Xbox, of course.
You are number one Xbox YouTuber.
And he was shocked when I told him that there's no way in the Xbox store to only look at original Xbox and original Xbox 360 games. They have gotten rid of that feature, and he didn't believe me. So he turned on his Xbox while we're on, and he got really mad. He made a video about it today. Why did they get rid of that? I feel like backwards compatibility is one of the coolest things about Xbox, and the fact that they make it so difficult to find any Xbox or Xbox 360 games unless you're searching by the title of the game is ridiculous to me.
Yeah, they did mention backwards compatibility in this podcast, so that as a feature of the brand. But so, are you saying it was in the store at one point and they removed it, or just never part of the new store?
No,
when it came out?
There was a tab for it. Like when you search in the Microsoft store and you're looking for the games and stuff on your Xbox, it has games coming soon, top free, top paid. There was a category under genres that was just classic stuff from the 360 and the original Xbox, and now it's no longer there. So the only way to kind of browse these games is either on a computer, or if you want to do it on your Xbox, you actually have to type in the name of one of the old games that is on there, and then look at see similar, and it'll give you a list of a bunch more games. It's so weird to me. It's because I love the backwards compatibility, and sometimes I'll be playing shit. I'll be like, man, I kind of want to check out something old, something that maybe's been refreshed through this. And they just make it so difficult to try. There's 600 Xbox 360 games on there. I'm not going to search all of them by name. Why is there not just a tab for it? I feel like the classic content, you should be promoting that. That should be one of your things. Hey, look at all these games that have been enhanced that you can get for, dirt cheap on the store.
I agree, but I would think the reason it's not there would be because it might be a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, but nobody's actually searching for those. So there's no reason to have a tab. It's a kind of a waste of resources to have that, because nobody's buying those games or searching for them. So there's no reason to have it as part of the store. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is, Rand. Call it how it is. Nobody's playing that crap. Nobody cares. They stop. We care. Core gamers care. But most people that are going to play Xbox, they're playing the newest stuff. They're playing new things. They're not searching some crusty 360 game that I want to play.
Hey, Skate 3 still coming through.
I'm just saying that's the only. Listen, I worked in back end like that. That's the only reason why you removed that.
You know about the back end? Did you call yourself a back end?
You frequent it?
I mean, it is. You're right. It is.
It was cool when they do it. Okay, no, but seriously,
because they're Play Anywhere, their Xbox, the cross save stuff, that all still works with that. Where I think what is it, Burnout? One of the games went backwards compatible, and my save file was still over there from the 360 days. It showed up, and it kept my entitlement for owning the game from way back when.
Like Speedo said, Manhunt on Series X is incredible. I completely forgot that Manhunt, the Xbox game, is on there for $10.
I forgot about that too.
Exactly. That's a game that I would like to revisit because I haven't played it in so long. I don't know, man. It's weird to me. There's
probably a lot of games that the newer generation now just has no idea about. Maybe you could just put a little section there for that 360 games, Xbox games.
That would be cool. They could do it like Nintendo does it, sort of, maybe. Just have a section and then you can access it. Because I'd like to play some 360 games, but I don't really know what's on the
Call
service.
it the museum.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
The collection, the museum, something like that. Like,
because they have original Xbox stuff too, right?
Yeah, Manhunt's original Xbox. We got Ninja Gaiden on there, Crimson Skies, a bunch of classics.
Is Brute Force on there?
I don't know.
I
would look, but you know,
Conqueror. Yeah.
I don't have
Just type in the name, you know.
Yeah, type. You know the name of it, bro.
Hold on, let's see. I'll Google it real quick.
Google it.
No, it's not compatible. But are we really missing anything?
That's not a bad idea, actually.
MVG, do you think this is a big deal? Xbox games going to other platforms? Is this kind of just whatever?
I mean, there's definitely, you know, some semblance of a deal here, right? But like, I feel like these 4 games in a vacuum, this could have been an email. This could have been an Xbox Wire post, honestly. Like, I don't feel like we really needed all this, but I guess maybe this was in response to the outcry of the community from last week. But no, I don't think it really is a big deal at this juncture, Rand, but I do agree with you that I think rather than the floodgates opening, because I don't think that's what's going to happen here, Microsoft will selectively choose games to put on PlayStation over time. I think that's a fair assumption to make after these 4 get released. So, yeah, I mean, I think really they just, you know, have to kind of manage that. But no, I don't think really it's that big of a deal at this point.
I do wonder if this is so. Back with the Xbox One when that was first shown, people rejected the digital side of things quite a bit. Obviously, they also try to put a camera in your room and stuff. I get that, but
people love that now, though.
That's what I mean. It's interesting to think back now to then and go, I wonder if, okay, again, take the camera out of the situation, the Kinect. If they were just like, hey, we're going to have digital and we're going to have always online and all that. I almost wonder how that would go over now versus 2013. I feel like it'd be better now. So I almost wonder if 10 years from now, we'll even say like 2025, if just having games on other platforms, even if you're a first party manufacturer for a piece of hardware, is really not that weird. I don't know.
Like, could you guys ever see Nintendo doing this? Like, I feel like they would never.
No.
Yes, I think they will. I talked about this
40
on the
years from now.
On the Spawncast pre-show, I said not next generation, not this upcoming generation, the generation after, I see them doing some type of stuff. And then by the following generation, who knows what type of technology will be around, but games are going to be almost everywhere.
Well, what do you mean some type of stuff? Because we already had Mario on the phone.
Yeah, that's what but people used to say. Now, I covered Nintendo back at that point, right? Like Wii U, even prior to that. I started covering Nintendo, like, you know, on like websites and stuff like that in like 2010.
PlayerEssence.com.
Yes.
A different name.
It was PlayerEssence.com.
No, about the Navy online. No.
But like, and people said that there would never be Mario on mobile or other people would say, and there were so many videos of people saying the same thing. And then there's a bunch of smartphone games, right? Nintendo does a bunch of stuff on mobile. So I don't think it's that crazy to think, you know, a couple gens from now or 2 or 3 gens from now that Nintendo does stuff on PC. Maybe not everything, but does stuff on PC or does stuff on...
But that's such a different market. Like mobile gaming and actual gaming, I feel like is so different, and it's a different audience too, right? Like my mom played Animal Crossing, but she's not going to pick up a Switch to, you know what I mean? Like, it's just...
No, I know what you mean, and I agree with you, but I'm saying like the mindset. People were saying, no, it is like mobile. Nintendo has their DS, that's mobile, right? You take that around. So people were dead set on Nintendo would never do anything for mobile, especially because, you know, the late Satoru Iwata, he basically went, I think it was the GDC one year, maybe MVG, you know about this, and he did not have good things to say about mobile there. He was essentially saying, you know, don't put your games on mobile, blah, 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 blah. You know, it wasn't that harsh, but he was talking down to mobile pretty good, right? So people felt that Nintendo would never, you know, do stuff on mobile, and they ended up doing stuff on mobile. So I just think that eventually one of these days, like, would it hurt to have, I don't know, like Splatoon on PC? Like, like
yes.
15 years
Mouse
from now,
and keyboard with Splatoon would wreck that game.
If Splatoon was Splatoon 2 or something like that, it was on PC, like would that be some type of like that wouldn't be a problem, So I think it'll happen at some point.
A lot of their games though also use gimmicks of the system it's on, so like they couldn't do that, right?
A lot of their games are just...
have to...
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say they'd have to do like really generic stuff and they couldn't be as creative as they like to be, like where they utilize every aspect of the system if they don't have a system to do it with, or if they're putting it on other systems down the line.
I hear what you're saying, the software being really closely developed with the hardware.
Yeah. I personally can't see. I mean, I can see Nintendo doing spin-off mobile stuff because they've done that before, but I don't think at least for the next few generations that they would do that personally.
There you go, few generations. 3.
After that, OJ will be dead, so I don't give a shit.
You will not be dead, MVG. Okay, few generations. I calculated this. We talked about this on the Spawncast pre-show. Make sure you guys watch that. 3 generations was 16 years, right? So the GameCube to Switch.
Yeah, by then.
Thanks, Sean.
Think it'll be a grilling accident or
probably something like that.
Alzheimer's.
Just too much starter on it. And just and that's it.
20 years. You'll be alive, MVG. Shut up.
20 years. Oh, come on now.
25 years. 25 years. You'll be alive. Be fine. Got modern technology, modern health. We'll be good. Extend the life like another
45.
Damn, I'll be old.
Maybe Nintendo bringing their games to other platforms is what kills MVG.
Maybe.
He wakes up one day and has a heart. What? Mario on Xbox and PlayStation?
Right.
I'm just getting ready for it now, so I don't have
to
the
be
health
the
condition.
Nintendo Tim Dog. I'm going to get on Twitter Spaces. Just get that going.
Well, it's interesting because this does also roll into the Sony topic, which we'll get to here in a second when it comes to their games being on other platforms. But let me go over to some of the super chats here. Rufflemutt says, just bought a Quest 3 and now I'm a VR believer. Also, how long till Sony just drops the PSVR 2? Sort of felt like it just dropped from the face of the earth. Yeah, that's that accessory is not doing well, that headset. I'm not really sure what Sony's doing with it other than maybe moving on. I don't know. Orange says, will Sega revive Rystar or Power Stone?
Power Stone, yes.
Power Stone is Capcom.
Yeah, it's Capcom.
Right. So that's out of your
Power
two
Stone,
options, I'll pick Rystar.
Yeah.
Power Stone's coming back though.
Rystar. Let's see. This is from 10 who says, thoughts on Ioneo Flip specs, details, and price. It was really cool until they dropped the price.
Yep, I love the device itself. The price is terrible.
Ugh. Cristobal says, do you guys feel that since Xbox got away 1 year without any first-party games, that Sony can do the same with this year's exclusive third-party support games to allow first-party games to bake longer? Kind of feels like
but it sucks, and then everyone's talking about power, and we don't even have any games, so...
Seems
and
like
the generation is crap.
Wait, listen.
Everybody turn on this generation real quick this week.
How do we have no games? What are you doing with your game console? That's the whole thing.
It's a great
2023 was the best year ever in video games because you were
one PlayStation game, one Xbox games. Look at the slew of Nintendo shit we got. It was so nice.
Well, here's the thing with the Xbox and Sony missed their forecast by like millions, right? So I don't think they can get away with anything. Like when people say get away with stuff, don't let the crazy Sony fans and revisionists tell you about stuff. Look at the numbers yourself. Sony missed their forecast by quite a bit, and I think that was because of a lack of games. I think if they had more exciting first-party games, more people would have bought the PS5. We can go into that.
Actually, right now, OJ, the Sony financials that you were mentioning or alluding to there, they did have the highest gross revenue recorded in a quarter three, so it's the holiday, October, November, December. It was at $10.8 billion, which is quite a bit. But their operating income was down 25% from last year, which is their profit. And they attribute that to having to do all these promotions to try to move PlayStation 5 consoles. So they're taking hits on these systems, trying to get them out there. And OJ's right. they did miss they're gonna miss their forecast because they had to revise it. They revised it from 25 million down to 21 million, and that's after selling 8.2 million PlayStation 5 consoles during Q3, which means they're at 16.4 million for the current fiscal year. So they're still well off from that. And I kind of feel like they were thinking this past holiday they would have sold like 10 to 11 million PS5s, and they did not get there.
But don't you think that number's high though for them to be saying 25?
Absolutely
like,
is.
I think that might be a little more telling. Then
it's arrogant Sony creeping back in, Sean.
You know what it is? You know what the forecast was for? The forecast was them trying to signal to investors that they are not going to lose pace with the PS4. Because if they did hit their forecast, they would have been right there and actually a little ahead of the PS4. They're actually tracking behind the PS4 by 2.3 million systems.
Yeah, they're exactly they're behind them. Sony don't get me wrong, like Sony's doing good. Obviously, they're making plenty of money and all of that. But I mean, like the lack of first party games is costing them at this point, right? Like the lack, because like only having Spider-Man, people said they'll be fine. Well, they weren't necessarily fine, right? Because you've got to go based off of your own goals in terms of what you set for yourself for the most part, especially if you're doing all these brand deals, you're doing all this stuff to where you're paying Marvel all this money. I mean, you've got to make a lot. It's not just about, oh, we're doing okay. You got to make like a ton of money because that's what they're a company. They're a company that has shareholders. So you got to make as much money as possible. So like they need to have better first party lineup. People killed Microsoft for that, right? We all did that. And the first party lineup in terms of stuff was not great. And now Sony comes out and says, I know we're going to get into it, that they don't have anything like on the scale of like God of War or, Spider-Man, for this year. I mean, they've got some good stuff. Stellar Blade looks cool. They've got like Rise of Ronin. They got these cool, like, other developers that are making stuff that I think is going to be okay. Helldivers just came out, but, not having high quality, consistent first party games is definitely going to hurt them,
Do they have any AA kind of stuff, like smaller stuff?
No, they just remake all their old AAA.
Right.
Well,
technically Helldivers too. I guess Sean just mentioned Astrobot.
That game was like in development for like 8 years. So I mean, I bet.
2 was,
So I don't think that was a cheap game to make. I think it was very expensive. But I mean, it's a cool game. Oh, it's $40, so I mean, it has like a AA price tag, I guess. So that's good for us.
Arrowhead made it. And they're technically not owned by Sony, so it's that kind of plays into, I guess, a little bit there as well. Mm-hmm. But they did indeed mention that. Okay, so for the rest of this fiscal year coming up, so that would end March 31st, 2025. They will not have any major release in terms of it's a part of a established big time series. So as OJ mentioned, God of War, Spider-Man. I kind of throw Ghost of Tsushima in there a bit right now.
Oh yeah,
how many that's sold. Yeah. So I guess we're not going to get Ghost of Tsushima 2 until after April 2025, which is interesting. No Last of Us, obviously. We just had a Last of Us 2 remastered anyway. But technically, you could do either a smaller game like Astrobot, which is apparently rumored right now. We'll see. Or it could be a new IP, which I have to assume at this point, all these studios at Sony are just working on new IPs. Like Naughty Dog is, Sony Santa Monica is, Blue Point, maybe. I'm still curious about Blue Point because there are new rumors popping up about them working to reimagine a certain game that people have been asking for a while. And
wait, you're talking about Bloodborne?
No, not maybe. We'll see. And
no, come on, John. No.
And that's my thing right now with Sony is we don't really know anything that they're doing with any of their big studios. So they are up to third parties. Stellar Blade, Rise of Ronin, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, that's coming up. But like
7 Rebirth is looking fantastic. Got my special edition pre-ordered. Definitely copping that. So
it kind of feels like the PS2 days right now, where they were getting the third-party games and putting the exclusive label on them on their system, and it worked then. I don't know if it's going to be enough for them to catch the PS4. I kind of feel like looking at this, and then they say that this is the halfway point basically for the system, which that set off a whole thing online.
Red flags alert.
Yeah, people turned on the generation real fast when they said that. That was wild online.
There was a video that made NC Smasher made. He's not a big content creator. He made a video just saying that this generation's dry, and like 10-minute video, dude, it's like 500,000 views. He's not like a big content creator, and it just blew up because people are all agreeing with him. Like usually comment section, obviously it's like whatever, but 500,000 views, and there was like hella people agreeing with him and liking the video, and it's just like spreading. So I mean, there are definitely quite a number of disgruntled people with this new generation of console. Should we say current generation of consoles, because it's going on 4 years now. So.
You know what I think is frustrating about this generation, though, is like just how much companies seem to be pushing hardware, right, instead of actual games. At least right now, I think that could be a lot of the frustration. Sony's or Microsoft is coming out with their more powerful thing. Sony's has a new hardware thing every other month, really. So it's just like, I think that's what's a lot of the frustration is from. At least for me, that's where it comes from.
I think for a lot of people, they're finally realizing that game development takes a long time these days.
Yeah,
it's not like the X360 gen where you could pull out a sequel in 2 years, or even the early Xbox One gen. Now it's like, you want to make a AAA game that everybody wants with all the pretty graphics and animations. Guess what? That's 5-6 years.
Yep.
And that's $200-300 million. There's something where Immortals of Avium said they cost them $125 million to make.
Damn. Yeah, I saw
whatever.
That. Yeah.
It's like, yo,
wild. Was the marketing guy for that game.
What'd you say, Sean?
Switch Force. He was the
he made a video. Maybe he should have been the marketing guy. No, I'm just playing. Shout out Zach. No, I'm just playing with you, bro.
I know nobody wants to hear it either, but COVID screwed everything up as well. COVID pushed everything back and delayed lots of games and all that stuff. And Sony has their own problems, right? I don't know if you look at their margins. They make a lot of money, but they don't make a lot of profit. Their margins are razor thin.
Yeah.
It's because they're doing price promotions because the PS5s weren't selling as much as they thought, and the games are costing too much. And Jim Ryan made a bet on live service, which Helldivers is working now, but I mean they talked about pushing 6 of their games back, and they got rid of Factions, which at this point, like, I would assume like if Factions would have came out, it probably would have did really well.
Just released it and sold it. Like, does every game have to be a 3 or 4 year roadmap?
Yes, that unfortunately it kind of seems like that's the case. Like, it has to be
$50 game. It's online. We're gonna support it for 6 months to iron out any serious bugs, and we'll put little fun cosmetic drops or something in there, and then you guys just play. Go ahead, have fun. People are playing Factions to this day from the game based on the PS3 release 2013 or whatever. It seems strange that it has to always be a live service roadmap that'll eclipse the generation going around.
Yeah, and even when you like tied into the Xbox stuff, like a lot of people even looked at like the Nothing Burger that was the podcast was kind of like helped by the news from Sony the day before, because they were like, yeah, we might have to look more and more in PC and mobile and all these other places, because I think doesn't the CEO basically said our studios have to be better at like managing like profits and the game. Like they basically kind of called out Jim Ryan in a way or Herman Holster or the studios for not running a profitable business to a certain extent. So now people with this, with those statements and the Helldivers 2 stuff on Steam, they're like, well, Sony's got to go day one on PC, right? Like, why wasn't Spider-Man 2 day one on PC is what people would say, or the upcoming Wolverine or whatever, or Death Stranding 2. You'd make a lot more money, and I don't know if that impacts hardware too much. It might, because Xbox is like the third place brand, but maybe not necessarily PlayStation. But they all have their issues. They all have their problems they're working through, and because games take so long, and PlayStation wants to make those high like profile AAA cinematic experiences. Sometimes you're going to end up with a year where you don't have anything. Like this year, probably, right? I think they have Concord slated for the fall, which is
Concord's coming out this year.
Yeah, but I mean, will that hit? I don't know. Death Stranding 2 end of next year. Is that the only game that's going to come next year? Like Sony Bend? Like, are they almost close? Yeah, I don't know. It's the release schedule is not kind,
Looking at the comments that they they made. You're right when that's the Hiroki Totoki is the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, and he's taken over for Jim Ryan as an interim. In the interim, they're gonna find someone, I guess, to replace that position, basically, or fill the position.
Phil Harrison coming back.
Oh gosh,
Agent 47.
Good hands there, yeah.
Just get Kaz back in there.
And in this case, he shows up looking at more the numbers, I assume, rather than the art, and is thinking, this looks insane on paper with these balance sheets and how much this stuff costs. We saw the Spider-Man stuff with that Insomniac leak, and it wasn't pretty with how much money it cost, and some of those contracts that were written up, and how much had to sell, and how much they had to send to Marvel. And I kind of feel like they either need to either raise prices, so that $70 game is going to be an $80 game next year or something, or they have to cut back on their games, as in the games
just
won't
let the
be
industry crash.
Well, they won't be the Naughty Dog level of like the plant that you're never actually gonna go near has to be fully interactive and stuff in this game, or you got to find more people. And I think they're gonna try to find more people, and that's why 2 years ago on the podcast I said, okay, they're gonna. This is when they did Horizon Zero Dawn. They said we're bringing this to PC, because there was a whole discussion there around that. Because I think Rand, you got like yelled at about it.
Oh yeah,
and
I did. I sure did.
I said they're gonna do a live service. If that works, the single player game's coming, and it is. I think that's gonna happen this generation. I think before the PS6 releases, they're gonna do a single player game, and I think it's gonna be a new IP, and they'll do it on PC and on PlayStation 5, and they'll take notes and see how it does. And I feel like Helldivers 2 is just cementing that for them. So it feels like you got to get it right though, and they have not gotten some of these PC ports right. So maybe that's kind of holding them off too. They have Nixes. Naughty Dog has some experience now from PC after them attempting to release Last of Us Remastered. So I feel like a new IP will be there day and date PC and PlayStation 5 in probably 2 or 3 years, and they'll see what happens. But it seems like the PC crowd is growing constantly. Like there is a lot of money coming in from that sector.
And they're supposed to release a PS5 Pro this year? Still?
Yes. Mm-hmm. End of this year. Yep.
Who's going to buy that when no one's buying PS5s right now?
I'm buying
other than you, John.
Yeah, you buy it to tear it down, though. All right, guys.
I'm going to use it too.
Welcome to Spawn Wave. We're going to look at the insides of the PS5 Pro, and
I saw Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I need that PS5 Pro. Send it on over.
Do you though, or do you just need the PC version that's coming?
Well, that's true.
Well, didn't they take feedback from it, and
they're gonna fix it apparently?
Yeah, they've got a performance patch coming.
We'll see. I need 4K 60 out of the thing. Bring in the PS5 Pro. It's gonna be like how big is that?
The PS4 Pro did sell very well, did it? Like comparatively speaking.
No. It was like, I think we got the split at one point. I feel like it was like a 15% split, like 15% Pro, and the rest was just regular PS4. So it's no. But
you remember the reason why they said they made the PS4 Pro? Do you remember the reason Andrew House said on stage
4K,
or whatever?
4K TVs? Because that's
it was to they had noticed that some of their users would go to PC halfway through the generation, so they made it so people wouldn't go to PC. And now Sony's going to probably fully embrace PC. So
yeah, and honestly, the PS5 Pro isn't going to show up and tout 8K that much like they did with 4K, because does anyone have 8K right now? I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone who has an 8K TV. So.
I just wonder what that thing's going to cost, because it doesn't look like Sony's going to want to sell that thing for a loss. And come in at $600.
I got it $600 with no disk drive.
You
got to buy the disk drive, or maybe $550 with no disk drive. You got to buy the disk drive separately though, and that's like $80 some odd dollars. It's on the side.
What's going to power the PS5 Pro? What specs? You can't just throw a price out. What are we talking about here?
That's a good question.
They'll team up with Intellivision and
people are throwing all kinds of wild specs around for this thing, and then they come to some teraflop number. And I feel like we're so beyond the teraflop stuff just to define the system now that it's impossible to tell. They're going to focus, I think, on ray tracing. And
are you saying 12 is not going to be greater than 10 anymore after this?
People have said it's gonna be like 18, and they're just throwing numbers around at this point. It'll focus on ray tracing and just trying to get 4K 60, and that'll be that. So maybe 8K. That was the rumor, right? 8K 30. There you go. Astrobot will look real good. It'll be a clean looking game. Let me go over to some of the super chats here. Prinny says if Xbox can help the Pal World devs with their game they don't own, Sony should be able to provide more service for their second party game. Come on, Sony. I have to assume they're doing everything they can to stand up servers, but that is hitting fast right now.
Probably trying to help them right now to get that game stable.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting it to take off like it did. Like it's on PC. There you go. Now they know. Sony knows now. They're taking notes. This is from Ruffle Mud. It says, anyone played that CDI-like game, nailed the look? Oh, it's like the new one, right?
It's called RZ, and it came out from Limited Run Games yesterday, and I have played it. It's really good. If you like old throwbacks to old Laserdisc 2D platformers from the Philips CDI, it's kind of the spiritual successor to the bad CDI games from the CDI, like Wand of Gamelon, and I can't remember what the other one's called. So yeah, check it out if you like that solid game. It's very good. It's getting good reviews on Steam right now as well, so check it out.
Is it only on Steam?
No, it's on everything.
Okay.
Oh, fuck off.
Okay.
Might be.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was muted. I'm watching the dunk contest. Whatever, dude.
What happened?
I'm watching the dunk contest, and they just they overscored a dunk already, like they always do.
Oh, okay. Zoob says, who else expected Helldiver bad, Foam Stars good? I don't know if I was expecting Foam Stars to be better than Helldivers too, but T-Joe says, why would Nintendo remake games instead of putting them on NSO? Mario vs. Donkey Kong was technically basically. Casual Noob says, the timer on Mario vs. Donkey Kong made me rage.
Can be a little frustrating.
Tijo says, I was looking forward to playing Halo Reach and 4 on PS5 till I realized Master Chief Collection was not one of the 4 titles. We're lacking in good multiplayer shooters that aren't live services or full of microtransactions. Yeah, that's I know Microsoft doesn't want to put Halo there, but I feel like Halo would actually do really well on PlayStation if it ever happened. I don't think it's going to because, like you mentioned, ran the brand, but that is a type of game that I feel like is very limited on PlayStation right now. HD says, Amazon needs to bring back the old 007 games. I need them for my Steam library. Chief says, with Pentiment and Hi-Fi Rush allegedly coming to PS5, do you think they will finally get a physical release or will they stay digital?
Digital.
Really?
I feel like to see Hi-Fi Rush get that physical.
I would like to get it physical, but are they really going to make a physical release just for old part of the game?
Switch does pretty well physical sales, though, right? Like that's
it does. And Ori got a physical release, and
and so did Cuphead.
But that was also physical on Xbox as well, right? So
I thought Cuphead was like a code in a box.
Yeah,
no, it's not a code in a box. I got it.
No, on Xbox.
On the Xbox.
Yeah. Oh.
It's a code in the box on the Xbox, but on the Switch, to your point, Josie, it's not. So maybe they.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
I hope.
I don't even think Microsoft published Ori on Switch.
Yeah, it was who was it? It was like a I Am 8-bit or something like that.
Yeah, I think they did the physical version. Microsoft's not even publishing the As Dust Falls game that is coming to PlayStation next month. I think they're self-publishing that game.
Oh, okay. Maybe someone can come in then and take care of that. Huh.
There wasn't any outcry about that one.
Because I think it's because of the type of game it was.
Fire up the Twitter space, MVG.
Interesting.
Hold up. I think it does say Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft published Ori on the Switch, but they didn't do the physical edition of it.
Yeah, they didn't do the physical. I think it was
but they were the publisher.
See, David says, OJ already knows this, but did you all hear that Penny's Big Breakaway is going to run at 120 hertz, 120 frames, and support high 4K on the Xbox Series X? I did not know that, but it is good to know. I mean, that game looks cool, but I think we don't have a release date for it yet, do we?
No, just sometime 2024. Probably hear about it soon.
IRS says, my biggest problem with Xbox is Phil. He really needs to just shut up when you also agree, Rand, because people always twist his words. Stop with interview. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect says, Xbox always needs help while PlayStation stay quiet while losing Spyro, COD, etc., and hitting their numbers. PlayStation extra hitting to Xbox, be happy. I think I read that right.
Sounds like an equation.
Yep.
Yeah. Steve says, anyone play the Tomb Raider Remaster Collection? We did. We talked about it earlier in the show. CJ says, doesn't As Dusk Fall make 5 games?
Story changes.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, Microsoft's not publishing that one, so I would imagine they're publishing the other 4.
Ruffle Mutt says, enough of the technical leaps. Did we not learn from this gen? Sometimes games just need a simple, fun idea to be successful. These next-gen leaps feel like the Wii U days force gimmicks. Sad face.
For real.
Yeah, and I know we're past this, but I forgot to mention, Matt Booty did say that they have 10 games releasing this year.
Who said that?
Matt Booty during the podcast. They had Booty.
Okay.
Booty.
They have 10 games releasing this year.
There, see, Josie, 10 games coming up. 10. You have
Looking
an
forward.
Xbox Series S? You ready?
Yeah, I will play them. I'd love for them to come out, and I'd love for them to be good.
Here we go. All right, John, tell Josie what game she needs to be playing. Go.
No,
Well, I mean,
no
Rebirth is out in
mansplaining.
2 weeks.
I don't know what
Rebirth is out in 2 weeks. No, she's doing fine. She's playing Mario versus Donkey Kong right now. Okay.
Mhm.
She's good. I don't know what game are you looking forward to, Josie? I'll ask her.
Xbox wise,
just anything. You can say any game. What game?
Any
what game
game.
are you looking forward to right now?
Princess Peach looks rad.
There you go. Okay.
There it is.
I will recommend Princess Peach then. There you go.
Okay.
It's more than a month out, but
Mighty
fine.
Peach looks cool. It's like Superwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is from Claw, who says, hi, for the next gen, would you prefer if Xbox made 1 a handheld and a normal TV console, or 2 a handheld and 2 different docks, adding more power and plugged into a TV like a base and a Pro dock? Second one sounds kind of complicated. Just a handheld and then a normal console. That's fine. I think you're okay with that. By the way, I brought that up to Nate over on the Direct Xbox podcast, and he gave a very definitive answer as to if Xbox is doing a handheld or not. A little surprised how straightforward he was about it.
And was the answer yes?
I don't know. Find out.
You have to
next
go
time.
You have
listen.
to go to spawncastnetwork.com.
He gave me a percentage and everything.
A percentage and everything. Huh?
Oh.
Yes. No, it's up right now over on the
I did see on Reddit that Nate said Contraband might be this year, and Banjo-Kazooie got rebooted, and
Oh wait, hold on.
I'm just saying.
About to get back on Reddit.
No.
I think Nate's a tier 2 insider according to Reddit Games and Leaks or whatever what it is. Yeah, they have a tier list for insiders.
Believability chart. Prime
It's a
has
tier
that
2.
too.
Yeah.
Tier 2, generally reliable, I believe.
Where's
Then
Nintendo
tier
Prime
2 is.
chart?
Why are we making charts now?
I will never go back on Reddit, by the way.
They love you there, MVG. You should go back.
Fuck Reddit.
Matt says, quick personality test. When playing a new unknown game, do you notice the things the hate about it first, or the things you love? Both approaches are equal, although I enjoy hating things more. Thanks, Matt. When you're playing a game, do you notice the things you hate or like first?
I think both.
Yeah, I feel like it
Fuck
depends
Mario
on what comes
Sunshine.
up.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, I guess it
Depends on what comes up first, you know? Do you hate it? Do you love it
Yeah.
first?
I mean, the opening cutscene could be awesome, and then it's like, oh wait, this is an RTS. That's not what this game looks like. The casual noob says, has Rand won a breakfast in bed with Xbox execs?
No, I have not actually. Well, I take that back. I had lunch with Mike Ybarra when he was at Xbox when I went to E3 in 2016.
Did he
That
pay?
was it. Yes, he paid.
Ooh.
Thanks, Sean.
Is that important? Was that important information?
Everyone's like, "Damn it, Brad, you're off the podcast."
I think so.
Damn it, Rand, we can't associate with you no more.
Hey, someone's offering to pay for my food or whatever.
Yes,
Why did he have to pay for it? Why didn't you just pay for it?
I will take a free meal and drink every time.
Probably kept that receipt, called it a business meal.
At a Too Many Games, the Eon people were like, "Do you want to grab lunch?" And it was me and John and HC Retrovision. And we're like, "Yeah, sure," because it was lunchtime and we were hungry. And so I'm a cheap ass. So I ordered we went to Buffalo Wild Wings, ordered 6 wings, even though that wasn't going to fill me up. And then they ended up paying for it afterwards. And I was so pissed off. I was like, fuck, man, I would have gotten fucking food for days.
You got to play food chicken with them. Just start ordering
Sean.
and just expect.
I know.
6 years ago.
Yeah. Felt like yesterday.
And you immediately went to that. Like that's just been sitting on your mind this whole time. And you've said that a couple times now I think about it.
Because I regret
that really
it.
bothers you.
I regret it. I would have gotten more food.
So you got some top shelf booze as well.
Yeah.
5 apps, 2 meals, 1 for a box to take with them. Be good.
Bottle of Johnny Walker Blue. Let's go.
Yeah, if I'm hanging out with people like with Xbox people, hell yeah, they paying for everything. I'm just saying, they executives, damn right, pay for everything.
Hey, the Eon people are very nice. You can check them out. Nope. At Too Many Games, they usually have a whole section in the back just covered in TVs and stuff with all the
GameCube adapter's good. N64.
The GameCube one is good. That's their flagship one. They fixed the Xbox one though. I know. MVG
They did.
Got
They did. They sent me an updated one, and it actually works a lot better. So good job, Eon.
I have one of the updated ones too. I was thinking about putting it together in a video that I'm doing for the Xbox system and just say that all the footage is from it so people can see it. But it's not it was really dark before. That's been fixed, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And this is from Lycon, who says, concerning Switch 2, is it really a delay if Nintendo hasn't even announced the existence of the system yet? Well, that is our topic here, Lycon. Appreciate it. So the Switch 2 has not been announced yet, but it has been delayed apparently. This according to, I don't know what happened. This was yesterday, and PH Brazil is a podcast, just kind of threw it out there. And then every outlet under the sun just started reporting it. And then they're like, oh yeah, we know that too. We're going to corroborate this. We have developers and publishers that are telling us this. Nintendo has said that the Switch 2 is not going to hit its holiday target, and it's going to be Q1 calendar year 2025. So anytime before March 31st of next year, it would be out, which technically that would line up with just the regular Switch's release when that was in the first week of March 2017. That means they would have made this system last 8 years, by the way. And it seems like, according to, I know Takashi Machizuki had a report out of Bloomberg as well. Apparently, it has to do with software. That's at least what they're saying, to where they don't have the software ready that they want, or at least the games they want ready for its launch year or its launch lineup.
So 3D Mario wasn't going to make it, so they delayed the whole thing?
That's kind of the way it's being framed right now. We're going off of these reports currently, and I will tell you, Nate is he's making the rounds, and he'll follow up, I think, next week. He said he'll probably mention at least something about it in Game and Talk, and then I'll probably do a podcast in a week or two anyway about it. But he is checking into it, and this is interesting because I thought it would come out at the end of this year. And it seems like all the analysts thought it was coming out this year. The stock market thinks it's coming out at the end of this year. And I don't know how they work towards this if they have to start talking about the device potentially a year out, where they would have to forecast numbers with investors. I don't know how you do that. That seems difficult.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me almost of the setup before the Switch came out, and people were saying 2016. Because Nintendo announced it, I guess, as an NX in 2015. Mm-hmm. And then people were saying 20, and there was this big thing. There was reports, and there was that it was 2016, and then it was, oh no, it got pushed back because software wasn't ready or whatever the case is. So yeah, that can always happen. But yeah, I would guess that if they did, it because they want to make sure that they have. I got a video tour, so make sure you guys check out my video on this because I go really in depth with it because I covered the original Nintendo Switch launch and all the stuff beforehand. But yeah, I would guess because they want to get more games back to back. people always talk about third party, and this is something that I see so much online, and I get it. People say, okay, third party can sell your system. That's like Microsoft and Sony. Like third party can sell those systems. With Nintendo, you have to have like consistent first party. Like it can't just be, oh, here's a Mario game, and then that's it. Like, oh, here's Mario 64, and then that's that. No, you gotta have like something else like right after that, and then like something else like a little bit after that, and then like something else like a little bit after that, right? Splatoon, ARMS, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Breath of the Wild, those were all within a 4 to 5 month period when the Switch launched, and that's why it was successful. Whereas you compare that to like Wii U, obviously marketing and stuff like that or whatever, but like Wii U had barely any first party games. It had Nintendo Land and New Super Mario Bros. 2D game. That's not, and it had a bunch of third party, had a ton of third party ports over from Xbox and PlayStation. Nobody cared. So I would guess that if they did delay it, because it's still rumors, just reports, right? If they did it because they want to get like whatever other games that would be after the big 3D Mario or whatever is the big launch title, it'd be the stuff to stack up afterwards. Because no matter how much great third party support Nintendo has, you still have to make sure that you have first party games that are going to like move the system, you know? So that would be my guess. If it does happen, that'd be why. So I'd agree with that. But I go in more in depth in the video tomorrow if you guys want to watch it.
There's a lot of stuff too that's talking like people are saying that the Switch released in different regions at different times too, right? So this is coming at us from Brazil, or where was this coming?
Switch was a worldwide launch, if I'm not correct, right?
Well, it was, but I guess I saw that in this might be a lie, but on Twitter it said that in like some places the Switch launched in 2020 or something. So I was just like, maybe it's gonna come out later somewhere else, and maybe that's a report from somewhere else, but I might be wrong. I just saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, people in the chat are saying Brazil didn't get it in until 2020.
Yeah, so like maybe that could also be a part of it. I'm not saying that's the whole thing, and I still think it makes sense for them to push it back if that's what they're gonna do. But yeah, I just wanted to bring up that point.
Yeah, because I think once all the other outlets started corroborating it, I think people were like, "Oh, okay, this is like a worldwide thing now." To where, again, it's funny because they haven't announced system, they haven't even acknowledged it, but it's okay now. It's coming out in 2025. So was it actually delayed necessarily? I guess
no.
But
you can't delay something that doesn't have a release date.
Well, technically you can't delay it publicly. Internally, you can be like, "We got to delay the release." Or
have you ever delayed a video of yours, Sean, that was supposed to be up for a day, but you didn't tell anybody, but you delayed it?
But that would be internal. It only becomes external if you know when the date is.
I'm just being stupid.
You could say, I guess the better way to say it is that they would miss their target, like their target reveal.
But that would, once again, that's internal, isn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah, it is, but they would miss it internally then. So it would, but I mean, I feel like they would want to hit that holiday if they could, and it just seems like they might not be able to. But then if it's still coming out,
hey, motherfucker said Starfield was coming to PlayStation 5 this year. It was launching alongside of
that's true.
The Starfield DLC that's coming out later on this year.
Who can we trust anymore, Sean?
Me.
That's why it's still a rumor. We still have to say it's a rumor at this point. Yeah. We still have to say that. Not saying that it can't happen, but I mean, once again, if you try to replicate what the Switch did, the Switch, I mean, that was holiday, right? 2016, launch it. Like, no, we're good. We'll wait till there's more software ready, you know? So they can do the same thing. If they don't have what game, X or Y or Z game that they want at a certain point, they'll delay it and wait. They'll wait and launch it when it's ideal. So you don't launch it and then you don't have you have a fat gap. Like that's the thing that you don't want is you don't want like a big old gap in first party software. No matter how great third party games are, you just don't want. I don't want a repeat of what we saw with 3DS and the Wii U. You know, where they're like, oh yeah, the third party's fine. Oh, it'll be no, it won't. Like, don't rely on those dudes, man. Like, do not rely on them. You know, even if the games are there, don't rely on them to sell the system. Like, get your games out first, and then third party that whatever is there, they'll sell, do whatever. But like, do not rely on third party to sell like Sony and Microsoft, or you're gonna end up with a situation, you know, like the 3DS. 3DS, you know, had a situation too. I mean, not just like the people always bring up Wii U, but 3DS had a situation at the beginning. For those who don't know, that it was a problem. There was not enough games. There was like Street Fighter. There was like a few third-party games that came out that were good, but there was not enough first-party. It wasn't until later that year, I think 2011, that there was like Mario Kart and like it was like Kingdom Hearts, and there was, I think, 3D Land and 3D Mario. So like Super Mario 3D Land. So, and then everything was better. And then they cut the price too. So
yeah, the price cut definitely helped. Yeah,
the price cut helped.
It's interesting because we had the code name for the system, the Switch at the time, because they announced it in 2015. We don't have anything for it, and in May they're gonna have to explain what the deal is for the year coming up. And I feel like there's a lot of people showing up, like, hey, new system this year, right? Holiday, yeah. So I kind of wonder if that March reveal is still in play here, just to push that out there and get the ball rolling on it.
So, well, I think what happened. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say this is kind of a joke, but I think what happened was they went to Retro, and Retro was like, "We're not going to be able to get Metroid Prime 4 ready for launch," and then Nintendo was like, "Delay the thing, delay it."
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 is still floating around out there. I still think it's a cross-gen game, so it still might not come out this year, which is that's rough. That's rough for Metroid fans, man. But they still got to get Metroid Prime 2 and 3 out, right? That's coming. I think it's gonna be the year of remasters, really. I think, right? They got the Zelda, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess double pack. They got that Fire Emblem remake, right? All kinds of remasters and remakes happening.
There are rumors of like an Uncharted 1 remaster and a God of War remaster too. Until Dawn got remade.
Well, I'm looking for that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm curious if anyone gets any more reports or follows up with this, because it's sounds like this is some pretty new information that's hit. So
I just feel like the rest. Sorry, I was just gonna say I feel like the rest of the year is gonna be really lame. Like if we don't get something big, because we don't have. Presumably, we're getting a partner direct still, right? Maybe or maybe nothing. So we're gonna really have
partner direct, right?
Yoro has spoken. Partner direct is incoming.
Don't worry, Microsoft's got you covered on Switch. Okay, got 4 games.
Yeah.
Microsoft's very benevolent. And they're like, hey, you got Sea Thieves and these other games. There you go. I'm gonna cover you.
So
for the
partner
fall.
Direct, and then but like no first party stuff from Nintendo, right? We don't really have it outlined until.
You got Luigi's Mansion too. You got
Luigi and Paper Mario. I guess.
Year of the remasters. I like it.
Remasters. All right.
It's gonna be good. Right. Yeah, we definitely have a partner direct this week coming up, because I saw
we definitely have one.
PR
all right, definitive.
PR
interesting.
Wasn't the rumor that they delayed the direct because of Microsoft's podcast?
Jesus fucking Christ, people.
Wouldn't it be funny if that rumor was?
Is this true, RGT? Your number one Xbox YouTuber and Nintendo YouTuber. Was that true? No.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was true and no one believed it?
You'll never know, though.
I mean, if there's a Microsoft game in the partner direct, would you believe it?
No. Why would I?
No, I'm just curious. Curious what you.
That's circumstantial evidence that maybe that they did though.
But they could
not like it's definitive, but it's circumstantial.
Thursday night, they've done partner directs at weird times before.
So
they could have done Xbox. People saying, "Oh, they didn't want to, the Xbox was taking some of their shine." There's literally been fucking state of plays and Nintendo Directs on the same day. Like this isn't a new concept.
What if there were so many videos made over the last 2 weeks about there being a direct coming up, and then the convenient excuses that it was delayed, but it was actually correct the whole time?
Seriously, just shut up.
On his own podcast.
It's funny. It's actually funny they're using Nate's voice for that.
Jesus Christ.
It'd be something. It'd be something if that was all ended up being true. But we'll never know. Unless Pentiment's in the direct, then it is. Let me go to. Oh, I put this in here for MVG. Technically, Sean as well. Yeah. Bloober team buried Konami about the marketing.
Oh yeah.
The Bloober team president not happy with how Silent Hill 2 was shown in the recent trailer. They said Konami is entirely responsible for the trailer, how it was shown. The trailer certainly does not reflect the spirit of the game. And they say we're trying to reflect this. They say romantic vision. It's translated through Google Translate. What can you do? Vision of the game that debuted 22 years ago. We think that when players see real gameplay, a real game, they will evaluate it in a completely different way.
Well,
get to it.
We'll just have to see.
Buried Konami.
That was not a good trailer at all.
It was not. It was not.
But then the combat didn't look good, and I mean, aren't they making the combat? But I guess the combat wasn't good in Silent Hill 2 anyways. But staying true to the vision of the original.
I thought it was funny that they decided they're just gonna bury Konami over that. So let me see some of the super chats here. Let's see. Krishan Bomb says, Ed, gameplay trailer for Street Fighter 6. Any thoughts? Street Fighter 6 people. Who's playing Street Fighter 6?
Right now.
It was a good trailer with Ed.
Ed's like the most not cool character in the game. So
I played him a lot.
Yeah, and he looks stupid. I've seen the trailer. He looks stupid.
Wish I played more fighting games to help you out. That's like Sean's department. And MVG's department, apparently.
I mean, Ed's he's like an apprentice of M. Bison. He has like psycho powers and stuff.
No, he's one of the boxing ones, but instead of having counters or charge attacks, he has a kind of ranged grapple. So it's just slightly different.
Ed's just, I don't know. There's nothing cool about Ed. Give me somebody else. I'll be excited. Is T-Hawk's not in the game. It's just T-Hawk's daughter or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's T-Hawk's daughter. He was in 5, I think.
Give me T-Hawk.
He's kind of cheap, though.
Exactly.
Shinru says, quick question. My MSI laptop kept booting up Helldivers 2 on my second monitor, even after adjusting in-game. Checked my Intel and NVIDIA command center. My main monitor doesn't show up. Any ideas why?
Get that refund while you got a chance.
Yeah, buy it on PlayStation. I gotta worry about that shit.
PC problem.
It still crashes and bugs out on PlayStation, but yeah, you can buy it on PlayStation.
And I would say it's a game that's already having a hard time when it comes to troubleshooting, and now we're throwing this second monitor or laptop into it in the equation.
Unplug your second monitor. Bam.
Oh man. Justin says, since Nintendo is the only company that actually values their first-party IPs, is it even worth investing in other consoles besides a PC?
I think Sony values their IPs, their first-party IPs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing a lot of media stuff as well. Like
I think everybody values their first party. I think Microsoft, everybody values their first-party IP. Pretty important to all of them. It's just there's different ways to. What's the saying? Different ways to skin a duck or cook a goose or whatever the hell that is.
Skin a cat.
Skin a cat. There you go. There's different ways to skin.
Yeah, that one's personal for Sean.
Some sociopath shit.
Mr. Joey says it was nice to see RGT on Donkey's video. When is he going to be on the Spawncast? P.S. Helldivers is so good.
Yeah, I'm the donkey guy now.
Yeah, Sean's.
Yeah, somebody sent me that, and I was like, huh? That was actually the first donkey video I've ever watched.
Oh, there you go. Demi Crow says, all I want is, say Skylanders? Say Skylanders. I would pay $70 for all the games on Switch without having to buy the toys.
That'd be kind of lit.
Was Skylanders big?
I loved it. It was big in my generation.
Okay, that's what. All right.
Didn't Jordan tell us it was big at the beginning and then it kind of petered out and that was the problem?
Yeah, like the first game, the first or two games on the Wii were pretty big, and then I think it stopped.
We had like a bucket of those figures, and people trade them in and just throw them in there. It was like 3 for $10, and it sold all the time. People bought them constantly, so I guess it was popular.
And they're so greedy. They don't want to release the games just like where you can just play them. You know, they're such assholes about it. Like, yeah.
Let's see. Chris says, "Hey everyone, love the Spawncast, and glad I could finally catch a live showing of the show. Love listening to it while truck driving. Love listening to it while truck. Okay, well,
are you typing while truck driving?
I was gonna say, hold on. Don't be careful out there, Chris. But thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Mike says, speaking of Nintendo, any news on games coming to NSO like the N64 NES? Got nothing right now.
We're still waiting for Zero Mission, so we'll see.
There you go. Child says, I'm thinking of buying Signalis or own a Canberra Chaos. Which one is better? Any thoughts?
They're so wildly different. Signalis is an isometric survival horror game with a lot of mechanics like Resident Evil, and the other is the Bikini freaking samurai game that's kind of like freaking Ninja Gaiden. So like I pick. I don't like they're so different.
Is Senran Kagura that game?
No, it's the Bikini Samurai stuff. You remember that?
Pandora Chaos. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was a
360 game, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a running series. There's a lot of games. And Chaos is a newer one, but it's just they're very. I remember the 360
each other version, but I didn't know there was more than that.
You're talking about Senran Kagura.
Well, the Saint says, will the Switch outsell the PS2 with the delay? I kind of think it will, yeah.
That'd be lit. Maybe. That'd be very cool.
I kind of think it's going. I mean, it's going to have probably a year and a half of cross-gen support.
The big question is,
could do.
Will it be called the Switch 2 or the Super Nintendo Switch?
Probably
neither of those.
Probably none of those.
Neither.
It's gonna be some weird. Sure. It's probably be some weird thing. It'll go along with whatever concept it is that they have.
The Switch flop, and it's bad. It doesn't sell well. Not that I want that.
I assume they're still going to use the Switch name, and they were very literal with Switch OLED. So as weird as it sounds, they could just be like, oh, here's the Switch 4K. There you go. And that's that.
I think it's going to be the most boring name, very straightforward. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. When I saw that Switch OLED name, I was like, yeah, they're done with that crazy naming. They just called it Switch OLED.
Switch 4K would feel like an upgrade though of the original.
I don't know if it's gonna be called Switch 4K though. I think it's just gonna be called like Switch, like Rand said, Super Nintendo Switch. So some type of play on something, that's whatever better.
Isn't anything with the Switch name just a upgrade then?
That's a good point. It's all part of the same.
But then if you call it something else, then you kind of lose the Switch branding.
Yeah.
Well, wait. If you use that logic, then the Game Boy Advance should be under the same thing.
Or DS and 3DS.
That's a bit more of a stretch. That's a bit more. Because you're putting something before it. This is after it.
We'll call it like Super Switch, Super Nintendo Switch. The naming stuff. I don't know. Glad I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to figure that out. We have Sobo says, Grand Blue Fantasy is a sleeper hit this year. It runs like butter on the Steam Deck. Really strange that it's rated as unsupported by Valve. Well, that's good to know. If it's not supported, people are always taking to YouTube looking to see how it plays on there. So it's usually
the text is tiny.
The text or the controls is like always the thing where people are unsure of, like if it matches up. But
you can
text,
you can tweak it. I've played it on my Steam Deck OLED. It's good. It's okay. Persona's much better.
Small.
The text is a little small in there, yeah, but I mean, you can adjust a few different things. I mean, and all that. But the game is just well optimized on PC, just in general. Like, it just runs very well and looks great, and it's a very good PC version of the game. Much better than I want to say much better, but definitely like the place to play it is like PC. If you're gonna play that game.
Chris says, "Hi friends, another great show tonight. Would it be possible to invite Night Sky Prince on the show when Rebirth releases? Thanks and much love."
He's my best friend. Absolutely.
Because when that comes out, we're actually gonna have a new member on the Spawncast, and we're gonna move some cast around and stuff because we have the other shows going too. So.
Is this your way of letting us go? Like everyone?
Fucking finally!
Thank God I can get out of this cage.
Now we'll have,
Nate gonna come back?
Who?
Nate's. I think Nate's doing the other shows now, but we have someone else coming on here, shake things up a bit, and I think it'll be pretty fun. So we got some other announcements for the other shows coming too. It'll be interesting. But we'll be starting that next month when Rebirth is already out. So we'll have someone new to talk to about Rebirth and everything else. So it'll be good. We'll stay tuned for that. We'll talk about that probably next week. That's everything there. I will double check Streamlabs to make sure I didn't miss anything there. But I do want to go around. Rand, thank you for joining us tonight. Where can everyone find you?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I appreciate being on and talking to you guys. It's always a lot of fun. Let's do it again sometime in the future when Xbox brings more games everywhere, shall we? Or as a business update to another podcast in the future. That's a joke, by the way.
Plenty of Twitter. When I see the Twitter Spaces like pop up all over the place, I'll call Rand.
Yeah,
that's how I know.
Rand, did you go in any of those Twitter Spaces with Tim Dog last week?
No, I did not.
So fast.
I didn't see you in there.
I don't do Twitter. I don't do Twitter. I don't really do Twitter, really. I log on, I check some stuff, and then I leave. I don't do Twitter Spaces.
Smart. I always thought Rand is a smart man.
I was in there.
I saw MVG and OJ in all these Twitter Spaces.
I was
they were there for it. They were looking.
Hey, I saw Jeff Keighley in a couple of them.
Yeah, what happened? How did that happen?
Hey, people want to know what's going on with Xbox.
Hey, Tim and Jeff are buddies, bro.
Oh, there you go. I did see over on Streamlabs, the Gaming Trogue says, justice for Nate. He was right all along. Also, as someone who likes the idea of games like Halo on Switch, I feel like it's only a dream. Also, RGT, what is your thoughts on Hunter x Hunter? You remind me of Hisoka?
The only Hunter I'm aware of is Sean Hunter from Boy Meets World. Maybe Hunter the Reckoning. I remember that was a game.
That was a good game.
I remember that game.
Yeah.
Good co-op on the original Xbox. It was good.
Yo, did he say that Sean is Hisoka?
Yeah, he did.
That's the Hisoka. I don't know who that is. Hold on.
Hisoka is a. I probably shouldn't say it. It's not.
Oh, okay. No, I see some images that popped up here. I mean, that's Sean.
Swing to say no, Sean. You like the swing on Sean, bro. With the swing.
I assume he's the man.
Hisoka's
something.
He's hilarious. He's great. I don't know. I don't know how you maybe kind of like goof. Even like goofy. I don't even know how you'd be like him, but it's funny. It's just funny.
That sounded like an after show question, personally.
Okay, let me go to MVG. Where can I find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Modern Vintage Gamer. Video coming out on Monday. Thanks for having me on. Oh, one more thing I want to say is everyone that gave Nate a hard time last week, go fuck yourselves, because he came out on top. Nate is the man. People need to believe in him more. So here's to you, Nate.
Suck a dick.
Josie, where can I find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Josie Woe. I make Switch content. I have a video with MVG coming out this week. It's Boomer versus Zoomer. We made it. We had it happen. It was great. It's gonna be a great time. And you can find me on the Game and Talk podcast along with Nate and RGT. So you should check that out.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, check that. That was you guys played Tekken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yep. Okay, cool. That's steps. All right, check that out. What about let's go to OJ.
Yeah, you can find me swinging. No, I'm joking. You can find me Hunter fans are laughing. Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube. Player Essence. I got some cool videos coming up tomorrow talking about the Nintendo Switch 2, the potential delay stuff, whatever. Kind of like my insight, as I've covered Nintendo for like multiple generations now. So yeah, I'll be talking about that. It's a big video tomorrow morning. And yeah, I stream pretty much daily. I'll also be streaming tomorrow because I owe you guys a bonus stream. So yeah, I'll be streaming tomorrow, and I pretty much stream daily on the channel. So yeah, check it out. Nintendo RPG stuff. Yeah, Nintendo and RPG stuff and other random stuff. So yeah, Player Essence on YouTube. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Let's go over to Evan.
You can find me on YouTube at Kimrick's Project for tabletop game stuff. We stream a lot. My schedule's fucked up though, so I don't know when my next video is coming out. I've got it mostly edited. I'm trying to get it ready for Monday, but we'll see.
Stuff. And then what about Sean over there? You doing your after show?
Yeah, it's already live. People are bitching because you're still talking. YouTube.com/Dreamcast guy. Got some mega uploads coming up this week. I don't know what my video is for tomorrow. I planned on doing one thing, and then the company was like, "No, we don't want you to do that till March." And I was like, "Okay, whatever."
Sean, I have one video that you need to make next week, and I'm not kidding. We got to call out this MIG switch bullshit.
Okay. Yeah, because I haven't gotten an update on that. Have you?
Yep. Nope.
Okay. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe I'll do that. There's all right, exclusive right here. Yeah, coming to the after show. Thank you, Shane Garrick, for gifting 5 Spawnwave memberships. Okay. Now come over to me and do it to me.
Go check out Sean. His after show is live. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We will be back next Oh, yeah, I did. I see that gifted 5 Spawn Wave memberships from Shane.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shane. Thank you. We'll be back next Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you guys then. Shout out to Shane.